Hey guys, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Um, the Lord said something to me yesterday in my own personal life. At first, I wasn't gonna share it, but I'm going to. I'm going to share it because it was so powerful. He said, "Suffer well." He said, "Suffer well," and he said, "Suffer well." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "Take the lessons from this moment and and take them take the lessons about people, take the lessons you're learning about the industry." Let me just say this here. I'm the kind of suffering I'm talking about is not physical suffering or whatever. It's basically when God has put something in you or for the world and you're waiting for it to happen, and all these things, not only is it not happening, but all these things are coming against you and nothing's working out, everything you try, the door is closing. That's because I know it sounds cliche, but I feel this in my own life, and I feel this for others. That's because you're so close to what God has for you. The fight is on. And He's saying, don't give up, don't quit, suffer well. And He also said to me something else too. He said, quiet the noise. He said, there will be noise around you. There will be things to frustrate you, and you'll be like, "Oh my God, why is this happening? Why are the people around me acting like this? Why is it going like this?" And he's saying, at least for me, he's saying it's birth pains. And like, I've never had children, but any woman will tell you that birth pains become more acute the closer the baby comes to being delivered. Like, there's a different there's a difference in the pain when you're fully dilated and when you're just uh, there's a difference between uh, 2 centimeters dilated and 8 centimeters dilated. So all this that you're feeling, I'm going to speak prophetically for a moment. All this that you're feeling, you're wondering why all the people around you are going crazy, why all the stuff around you is going crazy, and you call this person and it doesn't work out, and another roadblock and another roadblock and another roadblock. It's just it's just the contractions. It's just you're going uh into into uh full dilation, and that's why things are hitting you. All all the roadblocks, everything, that's all just spiritual contractions, everything not working out, everything, whatever. It's just you're about to burst something. So I would say, uh, take take the lessons. This is what I've learned through grieving and through all of that. Is I'm taking every lesson that God is showing me right now. Every lesson about everything. Every lesson about managing my emotions, but the mind, will, and the emotions and all of that. I'm taking every lesson because I know it's just contractions. And sometimes spiritually, contractions last for years because in pregnancy, first, the baby has to grow. But once the baby is fully grown, you feel contractions before the baby grows up, grows and comes out. So the development and the going to school and all that stuff, that's your baby growing. So basically, you get a vision or an inkling to what you're supposed to do. That's your baby growing. And then when it comes out, things get more intense because once the baby's fully grown, you feel a bit of pain when things are growing. Like you feel a lot of pain, like your legs swell up and everything just feels uncomfortable. For the first few months of pregnancy, uh, I've never been pregnant, but I've heard that you feel sick, but it's hidden. Like for the first few months of, let's say, let me just talk about my own experience for a while, and then I'll go to the pregnancy thing. When I first received the vision of um, ECFC, it was going to be called, and Emancipation Ministries and Emancipation Films and Emancipation Entertainment, I kind of I start I started when I started feeling kind of I started getting snapshots of what I thought the Lord wanted to do. So I raced ahead and did things that I now should not have done. But in doing those things that I should not have run, trying to push the baby out sooner, trying to push the embryo out instead of waiting for full baby. Even in that, I learned lessons. Now I started a film company way too soon. I didn't know what I was doing. So instead of waiting on gathering intel and gathering a team, I wanted to start a company. So I put all these finances into a company, but the company didn't take off because it wasn't time. I I started way back when before I started the company. I started a website, um, emancipationministries.com, I think it was. No, Emancipation Bookshelf, and I was going to put all my books on there for free, and hopefully it would catch on. That didn't work. Um, and in all this, I was reached out to a few organizations. They said no. Reached out to a few church building organizations. They said no, and all that. But what I didn't realize is that I was gathering intel. See, because everything you go through, whether in failure or success, you gather information. So, what information are you supposed to be gathering at this time in your life? Uh, so, so as things started to close, um, on me, I thought doors kept slamming and whatever. And there were times that I just wanted to give up and give up and give up. And then after the website didn't work out, and after the book thing didn't work out, and I released a couple books that never. Released 3 books that never went anywhere, and after all that didn't work out, I was like, okay, now what do I do? And in the midst of all of that, before all of that, in 2006, I got a I I got a download of stories, no, of a musical for a really popular band. And so in all of this, I was gathering intel and intel and intel. And now in my life, I've learned so much. And now I could feel for me the the babies the babies grown and just about to come out, and I just I just know that something's about to break, because before you have a baby that can, when the baby's fully grown, the contractions get more intense, and then with pain the baby starts to push out. And uh, I was thinking about my life the past year and everything that's going on and the things that are going on around me. And he said, suffer well. I was reading not Tiffany, Timothy. I was reading Second Timothy, and Paul says, suffer well, suffer well. He's talking to Timothy as a pastor, and he says, suffer well. And the Lord said to me, suffer well, beloved. He said, ignore the noise. Know that it's about to come through. And he says, suffer well. He said, take every lesson now. Take everything that you're going through now as a lesson. And I said, okay. And when I was done my Bible reading for today, it was Colossians, by the way, which is a rad book to read. And no, I don't read my Bible every day. I'm not a super Bible reader. I read it like once a week, or sometimes every 2 weeks, whenever the Lord compels me to go there. So this morning he compelled me to go to Colossians, and he says, in there he said, make sure your talk is always seasoned with salt and grace. And he just said to me, keep being the person you are. Don't let people change you. Know that they're going through something and whatever, and don't let it affect what you're going through. Don't let it affect you, because I'm working on them as well. So I just said all that to say what the Lord said to me. He said, whatever suffering you're going through, and this is for everybody, not just me, whatever suffering you're going through, whatever like issues you're having or whatever, suffer well, take the lessons. Let it make you a better person, not a bitter person. A lot of people, suffering makes them bitter, not better. The Lord calls us to suffer well and become better and not bitter. And another thing he wants me to say is, don't measure your suffering um, against another person's suffering, because everybody's suffering is different. And my version of suffering is not your version of suffering. How I need to go through my suffering to suffer well may be a different thing because of how you need to go through your suffering to suffer well. Like, am I on the street and, you know, um, am I on the street going hungry? No, that's not the kind of suffering I'm going through. But it doesn't mean my suffering is less than anybody else's suffering. It means it's different. And let's not compare suffering to, uh, let's not compare suffering. Oh, she's not suffering. She has lots of money and whatever. Yes, she could have lots of money, but she could be lonely as anything because nobody's genuine. She may be a star and have all these people, but who can you trust to really be you? Who can you trust to show all your scars and not worry about the tabloids the next day or the newspapers? Like, everybody, whether you're rich, poor, celebrity, non-celebrity, pastor, um, non-pastor, megachurch pastor, or just a church with 50 people pastor, everybody has their own level of suffering and suffering well. And me suffering well is not the same. And we need to stop comparing and judging people for how they're going through. Like, they'll be like, she shouldn't be doing that, or he shouldn't be doing that. He's going through a process, and understand that God is taking people different places, and people are different, so the way he's dealing with you may not be the way he's dealing with that person. He knows how to deal with whatever person. He knows what they need to get them where he wants you to be. He wants them to be. And it's none of your business how another person is suffering. Keep your mouth off people you don't know. I think the issue with people is sometimes we don't know how to mind our own business. We just uh, love to spread things that we don't know, and it's easier now with social media. But remember, behind every awful post is a person, and we are supposed to be gracious with each other, be understanding with each other. We are not supposed to judge each other. And now you can correct a person, because the Bible says open correction is better than secret love. But if you're not assigned to that person's life, if you don't know the ins and outs of that person's life, shut up. Just really shut up. Who needs to know your opinion either way? Just because like you don't know. And words hurt people. Words hurt people. And I think we need to just be very, very cognizant of our words, especially on social media. And we need to, social media is not good nor bad, it's a tool. And we need to use this tool wisely. Wisely. He's like, be wise with it. And we need to be wise with it and how we use our phones or computers and what we say. Is this going to lift the person up to help them? Or is it going to bring them down? And as well, as much as social media is a part of it, social media only shows what's been there forever. It just makes it easier to show it and be careful. And sometimes it's not even about you. It's about they want to get more likes, they want to get more views, they want to get more friends. And the saddest thing is scandal brings followers, or the more scandalous the content, sometimes the greater the followers, the more the algorithm goes up. The thing about it is the algorithm doesn't have morals. Like, it doesn't have morals, so it can't differentiate whether this is content to raise people up or bring them down. It can only it sees numbers. It focuses on numbers, because when you're dealing with any computer thing, numbers are easy to calculate. But behind every view, every number, everything is a person. And are you hurting that person? Are you lifting them up or bringing them down? We need to be lifting people up. We need to be asking God, God, how do I use this platform to lift people up? How do I use my content, my life, my circumstances to bring people hope and help and encouragement? And I'm not saying correction and admonishment is not good sometimes. And when it's seasoned with grace and led by the Lord, it's necessary. But don't do things, don't put videos up just to get views, or don't slander somebody just because you think you have a right to, because they're a quote unquote celebrity pastor or quote unquote celebrity singer. You have no right to do that, because they're a person. They need to be lifted up and encouraged. Or if you have something constructive to say, you season it with grace and keep in mind how you would feel getting that kind of message. And I want to say to anybody who's been vilified online, first, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Um, Second, they have no idea who you are. They have no idea what you've been going through. They just see you as a celebrity or whatever. They just see you as an influencer. And they feel they have the right to take pot shots at you just for numbers. They have no idea who you are. They have no idea what you're really going through. So just know just know that, and just know that God knows who you are, God knows where you are, God sees you, and He loves you. He loves you. And don't let anybody chase you from social media because of their mean comments. Taking a break from it is fine, but if God has called you here to do whatever, makeup tutorials or whatever He calls you to do here, let no man chase you off, because it is just the same as letting people uh, chase you away from the calling in church. If you are called here, God will give you what He needs to give you. But but my caution is, I said, if you're called here, I think some people just go on social media to be heard and whatever, and they have nothing to say. They're not called here. They just want to spread slander and whatever, and that's not good. We need to be lifting up the body. We need to be lifting up the body. And if we're not lifting up, then what are we doing? What are we doing? We're just going against the word that it says to love one another. Speak well of one another. Speak kind to one another. Just because you're behind the computer and no one can see you doesn't mean that God can't see you. He sees every word, every video, everything that you put up, every slanderous intention, every wonderful intention. He sees what your true motives are for being on social media, and He will judge you accordingly for it. He will judge you for the good stuff, and He will judge you for the questionable stuff. He will, He will. He doesn't play. So if you think you could hide behind your computer and that person doesn't know who I am, so I can just be as mean and hateful as possible, nope. No, because God sees everything, and He will repay, and He will reward and repay. So you don't need to worry about anything like that. Either good or challenging, because God will repay and reward. I don't worry about numbers because I know at the end of the day, God will repay me for every video, every word that I've spoken to people, every sermon, every time that I follow His word, and He also will judge me for the things that I said on here that I shouldn't have said. And I just want Him to be pleased with this channel. I just want this channel to be His. And I know that He's pleased with me. So I don't need numbers to tell me how good I am. I don't need numbers because I've got Him. and he knows what each person was going through. He knows when I clicked on my own videos that I needed that. He knows who's watching. He knows what people are inspired by. He knows what he's put inside me. And he also knows what he's doing in regards to um, the other parts of my life. And at the appointed time, the baby will be coming out. And I can feel it happening soon in my own life. I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye. Take care. And just a quick side note, my church is doing Love Week this week, where they where thousands of people volunteer in their communities. And I just want to say I'm praying for you. I'm praying that God will do some great things at each event in each country. I'm praying that lives will be changed just by packing food or whatever. Like just relationships will be formed, lifelong friendships, maybe if God will it, romantic relationships. Um, just divine connections will be formed when they're doing whatever event they're doing, whether they're going to prisons and sharing their gifts, or whether they're packing things, or whether they're reading to children or whatever. I'm praying that God will show up and show up because He is not slack regarding His promises. So, whatever He promised at the beginning of our week, He will do. So, guys, bye. Take care.